Hi friends, welcome to the Wild Side. I'm Steve Hall. When we were visiting Sherwood Forest State Natural Area a while back, a ranger pointed out over the horizon and asked if we were familiar with the Mountain Goat Trail. He thought it might be worthy of a Wild Side story. And then a good friend happened to mention how much he enjoys walking on the trail since he's moved to Grundy County. So we decided to go check it out for ourselves and found out they're still building it.
For me, the Mountain Goat Trail is a wonderful opportunity to not only get exercise, but to actually walk through history.
It may surprise you to know that the Mountain Goat Trail is not named for actual mountain goats, even though it is near Monteagle Mountain, which technically is not a mountain, just a stretch of interstate across the Cumberland Plateau. But the trail is indeed a trail, it just hasn't always been.
So in the 1850s, the coal company built a railroad to come up on the mountain and haul coal back down the mountain to Cowan.
It was considered the steepest railroad in the world. So it was built largely to access the coal mines that had been located in Tracy City and north within Grundy County, Tennessee. It connects to the main line between Chattanooga and Nashville.
Generations of Swanee students, dignitaries who were, got off the train right here at the depot in downtown Swanee to go up University Avenue to go to school. William Howard Taft was here for commencement in the early 1900s. It's just, there's so much history in Swanee and Tracy City and Coal Mine and the whole rest of the plateau connected with this railroad and now this trail.
The rails were gone about a century later, and the talk of trails was just beginning.
The rails got pulled up in the 80s, and almost immediately people were talking about how to turn it into an asset. We have printed minutes of meetings from the late 80s with people saying, let's get together and turn this into a walking biking path for the community. In 2006, the Mountain Goat Trail Alliance was created as a nonprofit to make it happen, and it's just taken off from there. So we are actually on the oldest section of the Mountain Goat Trail, the first 2 miles that were ever built back in the early 2000s. And from this beginning, this great, wonderful project has developed 12 miles completed now, looking at almost 40 miles by the time we're finished.
And this is where it's going next. Construction has yet to begin on this branch of the paved path, and it remains closed to the public. But we're taking you beyond the gate for a sneak peek of the old railroad bed that was carved through rock, offering an inside look at the land's physical features.
So we're standing in front of Slopewall Hollow, and it is one of the deepest cuts along the Swanee to Cowan section of the Mountain Goat Trail. It was built in 1857 using mostly immigrant labor. Tennessee Consolidated Coal maintains some land ownership still, but I don't think there's any active coal mining happening on the mountain. It hasn't for many years. So this section of the Mountain Goat Trail is currently owned by the University of the South. But in the next several months, we've been working with the state park system, and we'll be transferring it over to the state park as we develop this section of trail. So this will become the primary access to Hawkins Cove State Natural Area, which is part of the South Cumberland State Park.
Continuing our off-road journey requires breaking away barriers with a chainsaw. Leaders of this endeavor believe it is also possible to break barriers between the past and the present, forging a way to the future.
100 years ago, this was the economic lifeblood of the mountain. It was bringing passengers up and visitors up and taking natural resources away. And when it closed, there was a lot of economic harm as a result of that closure. And so opening it up is really a way to help it fulfill the mission that it was originally built on, which is to be an economic driver and a social driver in the community. When you talk to people in Tracy City and in Grundy County, they identify with the rail bed. Viscerally, everybody knew a family member that worked for it and was a part of the railroad. And we hope to bring that back. We hope to again have it be a real, tangible and visceral part of the community.
The vision was always to make the Mountain Goat Trail accessible to everyone.
Up here on the Cumberland Plateau, we're famous for our hiking trails like the Fiery Gizzard and Savage Gulf and those places. But those are single track, they're rooty and they're rocky and they're inaccessible to everybody. And what we're short on up here is smooth, ADA accessible where anybody can use them. You know, grandmothers, people with walkers, people with wheelchairs.
And people in the community are showing up for a healthy enjoyment of nature.
So right there is a trail counter, infrared trail counter that counts people every time they go past. We recorded 60,000 visits to the trail in a year, the last year or two. So people are using the trail.
At the same time, organizations are volunteering to help enhance the experience.
It was an Eagle Scout project to put the QR posts along the trail where you can scan it with your phone and it tells you history, it tells you geology, it tells you about the wildflowers along the trail. So those sorts of things I think are just going to organically happen as the trail gets longer and longer, and we're excited about helping that happen.
The first thing that overwhelms you is just the sheer amount of nature around you. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful at any season, whether it's fall or spring, or even people will get out here, bundle up and walk it in the middle of winter. I think for me, the important thing about the Mountain Goat Trail is that I don't have to spend a tremendous amount of time on it to get a good walk and to get out in nature and just kind of relax.
We are capitalizing on the natural resources of the plateau just in a different way than they were doing 100 years ago, right? So as the scars of mining have healed, we've got a beautiful place here that we want to invite a new generation to come visit.
The Mountain Goat Trail reflects the resolve of a community to protect significant natural places from development, and that can be a real challenge. But we were told years ago by wildlife agency leaders that successful preservation needs to begin at the local level.
Tennessee's Wildside has been a presentation of the Jackson Foundation in association with Rockwater TV.